Welcome back for another Florida roadside attraction. And welcome if it's your first time. If you are into aviation or consider yourself perhaps an aviator, you probably already know of Sun and Fun's existence. And if you've never heard of this place, that's quite alright, because that's what we're doing in this video. We're going to explore this place together. This campus is located just east of County Line Road in between the counties of Hillsborough and Polk County. Actually, technically, we are standing in Lakeland, Florida. Out in the country! And now it is time for us to hit the runway. Into the wild blue yonder. Together we will go. There is much ahead. We begin at the main entrance, just beyond the airplane and the opening shot. Across this street here is the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, home to one of the best aviation schools in the country. The Aerospace Center for Excellence is currently under construction, so things are a little different around here on campus. However, the Florida Air Museum is still open. The construction of this aerospace building and the addition to will not stand in our way, and it is cool to see them building this. There's actually a construction sign over here that shows what the main entrance will look like in the future, and if you look inside that window, there's an aircraft hanging. There should be several aircraft throughout this building one day. And already situated on this side of the construction is this naval aircraft. Look at that bad boy. I can picture this aircraft skidding very fast across the water, especially with that landing gear. Look at that. That is so cool. This chain link fence in between the driveway and the construction says this is the official Aviation Museum and Aviation Education Center of the state of Florida. To help put things into better perspective, I'm about to drive down this driveway beneath these sycamore trees to search for the Florida Air Museum. I see a lot of aircraft up ahead. There's some relics sitting right there. Look at that, a Grumman F-14. It seems I'm not the only one who has landed in the temporary museum parking lot. Check out this giant jet plane right behind me. I believe we're going to explore that today. And the F-14 that we just saw is in the background. We'll take another look at that as well. But I have parked in front of what seems to be the registration building. Follow path to museum. Okay, I'm guessing it's this path beyond this statue with these airplanes. Let's see where it goes. And we'll take a look at the several aircraft along the way. Check out this Piper jet. Its landing gear is anchored into the ground. This plane is very aerodynamic, of course. Looks pretty sleek. I wonder what its top speed is. Its first flight is actually indicated right here. July 30th, 2008. Piloted by David Schwartz. And here's a look inside the cockpit where Captain Schwartz once piloted the plane. Never underestimate the power of the Schwartz. This one looks very sleek and fast as well, but I'm noticing that this one has a propeller. I wouldn't want to get too close when this bad boy fires up. There's something on the wing! There's something on the wing! I've always wanted to do that. This aircraft looks like a fighter jet that you may have seen come off an aircraft carrier, judging by the landing gear. I'm sure someone who's watching will know exactly what this aircraft is, and I'm sure they might comment below, but check out the cockpit of this aircraft. I'm kind of holding the camera up so you can see. I can't really see it. Hope you get a glimpse there. Someone's up there having some fun and sun. Check out this jet. This aircraft has been making some maneuvers. Look at that thing, it's going fast. Getting closer to the museum, this aircraft sticking straight up in the air. Perhaps it was designed to do that. One of its wings says Lockheed XFV-1. This aircraft actually sits beyond the jet airliner we just saw. We've had all of this fun so far, and I haven't even paid admission yet. Look, we're crossing over that road again, the F-14. Now closer. The Grumman F-14D Tomcats replaced the F-4 Phantoms right after Vietnam. This became the Navy's #1 maritime fighter jet. And I believe this is the same jet that Maverick flew in Top Gun. Maverick and Goose and Iceman. I think so, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel the need
for speed.
Looks like this aircraft was once aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier. Check this out. This has been gutted, obviously. I don't think you would be able to see all the way up there if this thing was ready to go. Oh my gosh, I'm inside an F-14. To the left of the F-14 is this 1939 Boeing 307 Stratoliner, which once belonged to the aviator himself, Mr. Howard Hughes, one of the pioneers of aviation. Once owned this plane. And if you've all seen the movie Aviator, you know what life Howard Hughes had, from Hollywood to airplanes. Very cool to be standing in front of this, knowing that Howard perhaps was inside of it himself. That's pretty fascinating. And behind this Boeing is the actual museum, and we're almost inside. Whoa, there is much to see in here. Hello, Mr. Pilot. Okay, we gotta pay up, and then it will be time to take a look at all this. Remember in the beginning of the video I said we were gonna hit the runway? I found that runway. There is so much to see in here, folks. I don't know where to begin. So many things. I'm gonna start back here in this corner and kind of work my way out. As you can see, there is much to do here, much to see. I don't know where to start. But I think the Red Baron airplane, I think that's a great place to start. Nothing like frozen pizza. Isn't she a beauty? Look at that. A 1943 Red Baron Stearman with a Red Baron insignia on it. Pizza. Oh yes, I love my pizza. The Red Baron is flying straight for this giant wall of visqueen, which separates the construction portion of the museum. That's where we started the video. And this is the furthest plane to that end of the wall there. Check it out, not much to it. Look at that cockpit. Wide open, no windows. Oh, that must have been scary. The propeller out front, this plane is from 1934. Donated by Dean Tilton. We'll look at several other aircraft hanging behind me. That looks like the plane from the end of Howard the Duck. The very end that Howard's flying when he lands in Cleveland. Although this wasn't around back in the 80s. This plane is from 2008. Right underneath it is a motor, and there's a button here. Looks like there's a bit of a demonstration. Look at that. The piston moving up and down. That's pretty cool. And this is a Jupiter LR-79 rocket engine, the largest engine inside this museum. These engines were used among the Jupiter spacecraft, which piloted the first ever missions into space here for America. Among those missions were the monkeys, Abel and Baker. And here's a picture of Baker right there. The Jupiter rocket starts a row of engines and jets. Jet engine row, that's what I'm calling it. This jet engine here was created by General Electric. The sign on top says this is a J33, which replaced the J31, increasing the thrust from 1,400 pounds to 4,000 pounds. That's a lot of torque. Check out the serial tag. Allison Division, General Motors Corporation, Indianapolis, Indiana. I believe they are still located in Speedway, Indiana, next to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Actually, yeah, they are, and I believe my uncle used to work for them too. Behind the row of engines, there's a whole wall devoted to the air show pioneers and innovators. Among the wall is a photograph of Jessie Woods. Jessie's sitting right there on the wing of her airplane with her doggie. And in this case where the photo is several awards that she won right out here in Sun and Fun. This one is the 20-year Veteran Volunteer Award in appreciation of unselfish and dedicated services. She got that in 1994. And this one below looks like she won the Amelia Earhart Aviation Award, a pioneer pilot whose artistic and inventive skills have allowed today's aviators to glide above yesterday's limitations. And there's a photo of Jessie taking off. Look at that. It's amazing. Oh, and there she is there. There's another photo of her. Right there. Well, look at that. Among this wall is the Red Baron Pizza Squadron, 2015. Now approaching this 1929 Pet and Paul air camper. They don't make them like this anymore. Hard to believe this thing once flew, isn't it? Isn't it crazy how much things have changed? Wooden propellers, just a small engine on the front. This vessel made of copper and steel. Look at that. They don't put those on airplanes anymore, that's for sure. This is fascinating. It's a two-seater. Look at that. And I believe this was made by a man named Bernard Pettenpool. Actually, yeah, right there. Cherry Grove, Minnesota. Bernard Pettenpool was considered the father of the home-built aircraft. Fun fact. This next aircraft has a very different name, and from this angle it doesn't look very big, but as you move over here, it keeps growing. It's big and bright too. Look at that color. I love that color. This is known as a Loving's Love, built in 1949 by this man right here, Neil Loving, who was not only the first African-American licensed racing pilot in the United States, but became the only double amputee to ever race airplanes. According to Loving, it was built for the cost of $2,500 and took him 19 months to complete. Piloting the Loving's Love is this fella, a blue bear, all suited up and ready to go. I like his flight jacket. Neil Loving was from Detroit and he loved aviation, and at the age of 13 he paid $3 for his first airplane ride. 3 years later, he began designing gliders as an aviation student at a local technical college. Unfortunately, in 1944, he crashed one of his gliders and his legs were crushed so badly they had to be amputated. But as you can see, that didn't stop Neil from giving up on his dreams. He designed this aircraft, and in 1953, he flew it from Detroit to Jamaica, 4,800 miles, just to test it out. That's an amazing story right there. I'm glad I came across it. Moving right along here, now it's time for this side of the museum. Still much to see. Still much to see, that's for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize if you hear something loud. There's a lot of aircraft outside flying over us, I guess, but we're looking at a model of the XF-11, the airplane that was flown by Howard Hughes for only 20 minutes. He was test piloting it and he crashed into Beverly Hills and barely made it out alive. Here's some pictures of that famous crash. I believe he hit 3 houses in Beverly Hills, one belonging to actor Dennis O'Keefe, living at 802 North Linden Drive. He was in a movie with John Wayne, the sign says, The Fighting Seabees. This 1972 Pitts Special S1 is hanging upside down, kind of showing that it's flying upside down. I'm walking over into this corner. The sign says military. Let's see what's going on over here. Ladies and gentlemen, what looks to be a giant can. Of course, this cylinder flew over the jungles of Vietnam. It is a rocket pod that housed rockets. This photo kind of says it all there. That is Colonel Tom Tucker, and he was part of the 189th assault helicopter company that did missions in Plaquemine, Vietnam. It says that the company was so fascinated with the beverage, it was their favorite beer, and the lack thereof made them miss it, so they decided to make this rocket pod into a giant Coors can. That is really cool. This thing flew over Vietnam. The shirt you're about to see was issued to Captain John W. Parcels while a prisoner of war in North Vietnam from 1970 to 1973, and it's a bit faded, but you can see the stripes on it. Looks like the NVA issued uniforms to their prisoners in some of their camps. I did not know that. Not much literature shown to describe these artifacts, but I can tell that these came from the NVA, the North Vietnamese Army. Looks like a little flag there. One of their helmets, one of their caps. I believe this is some sort of instrument. I believe I've seen somebody playing this before, either in a documentary or in a movie. Here's an old helicopter pilot's helmet from Vietnam. It looks like this was the Viking unit. It says Vikings 24. And it doesn't really say what these are. That's a tomahawk. And it looks like a blade there. Some call it a sling blade. I call it Kaiser blade. I like this one because it's got flying Snoopy on it. I love Snoopy. A good old beagle. Sitting along the wall is a .50 caliber machine gun fixated on this wooden platform. It says it was donated by Daryl Brown. Some of the cartridges there, and there's an actual bullet, .50 caliber, but there's the lever you would pull back to fire. There you go. There's a .50 caliber machine gun. This wall here says that Florida is home to over 20 military bases, Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, and Navy, all 5 branches, and of course Navy has the most, us being surrounded by water. The 1903 Wright Flyer. Now if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know I am from the same place Wilbur Wright was born, one of the Wright brothers. Henry County, Indiana, was born not too far from where he was born. We've been to his house and explored that museum, and here is another Wright Flyer, as we saw that day in that video. At the end of the video, I'll put that video if you want to check it out. But yeah, the 1903 Wright Flyer that flew at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. This airplane hanging up to the left, we're about to take a closer look, but notice it says Ford. Yes, Ford not only made automobiles and tractors, they made airplanes. And the sign hanging from the aircraft says that this Ford is called a Flivver, a Ford Flivver, built in 1926. I believe it's Flivver. I doubt it's Flyver. Flivver sounds better. I don't know. What do you think? This next particular aircraft was discovered in 1966 in a Florida airport where it had been stored for 13 years. It was purchased for $1,000 and later restored. And that is a 1946 Culver 5. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Reminds me of Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Go Steelers. Check out the cockpit. It's a 2-seater. It's very small in there. There's the controls. Coming down this plane here, just kind of rolling the camera. Coming around this propeller. Trying to figure out what this bad boy is. There's a sign right in front of me. I'll read it as you enjoy the plane. It is a 1934 Aeronca LB. Now I know I'm butchering that name. A-E-R-O-N-C-A. And behind that last aircraft is this aircraft. Just 10 years later, after the first airplane flew at Kitty Hawk, and in 1913, this bad boy flew. Check it out. Look at that engine and that propeller. Wow. Look at the pistons there. And this copper, I believe this is the fuel tank. And that might be the reserve. Correct me if I'm wrong. But look at that, not that much, just a wooden shell. And there's a steering wheel and the seat. And this is called a 1913 Laird Baby biplane. Here's a better angle of the cockpit. The steering wheel, all wood. This photo here is of the St. Petersburg Tampa airboat line. It was taken somewhere on the bay in St. Petersburg. The pilot of that airline was actually the first commercial airline pilot, and there he is right there in the cockpit. Tony Jarris, the world's first commercial pilot, and he flew that first voyage across the bay from St. Pete to Tampa, and there's an old flyer of that commercial airline. Fascinating to think the first ever commercial flight took place right here over the bay. Pretty cool, these old seats here. You can take a load off and watch a little video. A Boeing video, actually. This display is devoted to Boeing. Oh, look at this. Fly Eastern, your wings to the family vacation kingdom. Walt Disney World. Look at this vintage photo. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Look, there's the monorail, the Contemporary, the train, and over here you have the Haunted Mansion, and look there's the Independence Hall. Oh, and look, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Who remembers that old ride? Actually, I remember that on my first visit to Walt Disney World. Okay, nerding out over here. It's a vintage poster I've never seen before. And here's another vintage poster. Check it out, Miami.
Environmental management system.
Braniff International Airways. Whoever flew on that? Vintage airline poster, perhaps used to hang in the Miami airport. Pan Am. This mannequin is wearing the uniform of the last #1 pilot that flew a Pan Am commercial aircraft. His name was Lyle Wheeler. Coming in hot, down runway 15. At the end of the runway, there's some t-shirts, and they are $15, including tax. There's the 2020 Sun and Fun shirt, and some more versions of it over here. Tons of t-shirts here. I like this one. I think this is my favorite though. Very vintage looking. Aerospace Expo, Lakeland, Florida. March 31st through April 5th. Did that actually go down? Nope, it was canceled. So this is a collector's item. Okay, so now let's see what's in here. Oh wow, there's several things going on in here. There's some seats over here like you're taking a flight. But over here is the navigator's compartment of a Boeing B-17, just like they flew in World War II. This kind of shows you what the navigator would have seen. Look at that. And there you go, there's the B-17 itself, the Flying Ace Excalibur. Kind of shows you what's going down in there, or what was going down. This is so cool. And there's a map there for the navigator. Little phone, little speaker. And over here is the bailing out demonstration, or ditching as they called it. Wow. Oh my gosh. Is that a parachute pack? Whoa, that's a real parachute pack. That's pretty cool. Hey, these seats are comfy. Gotta make sure we keep our masks on, right? Now this exhibit by the exit, I see this quote up here, and I'm gonna guess who said it just by what it says. I'm not a paranoid, deranged millionaire, I'm a billionaire. I'm gonna say that was Howard Hughes. And I think I was correct. This giant mural on the floor of Howard, over the globe there, over the North Pole. And coming up to this. These flight suits belong to Howard Hughes, and notice they're very big. That's because he was 6'3", which is just about my height. Didn't realize he was so tall. Look at the helmets there, the leather helmets, flight suits. It's amazing that Howard Hughes once wore these things. Howard Hughes presents Hell's Angels, a movie that Howard produced. For $500,000, he acquired 87 fighter and scout aircraft and 137 of the country's top aviators and stunt pilots to film that movie. A little brief history there, and there's a still shot from the movie right there. And check it out, the old Chinese theater, Roman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. That is an old sign, and I believe that's the premiere. Look to the left and right. Okay, this is pretty cool, especially because I like, you know, filming locations and stuff from movies. This was actually a damaged propeller removed from the German Gotha, the bomber that crashed during the filming of Hell's Angels in 1929. Look at that. There's a piece of cinematic history right there for you, right there. That's amazing. Oh, and look at this ribbon from the world premiere of Hell's Angels, Tuesday evening, May 27th at Grauman's Chinese Theater. Captain James McDowell, a police line pass. Okay, this is funny. The trouble with my life is that I do not think I am cut out to sit behind a desk. And right there was Howard Hughes' desk. This desk belonged to Howard Hughes. And along with everything on this table, either belonged to him or he had something to do with. But check it out. Here's Howard sitting right behind this desk. That's amazing. Look at that. Now, he died in 1970, so I say that was taken probably in the 50s or 60s. Who knows? There's the desk. He was sitting right there. Look at that. So you remember the 50 caliber machine gun earlier? Well, Howard Hughes designed the bullet feed. That is what is fed through the 50 caliber. The bullets go inside there. Howard Hughes designed this. I had no idea. That's pretty cool. I intend to be the greatest golfer in the world, the finest film producer in Hollywood, the greatest pilot in the world, and the richest man in the world. And if you ride like lightning, you're gonna crash like thunder. Howard Hughes died in a plane crash in 1970. And there he is, Howard Hughes. Amazing. It was cool to read all the history of here. Come on out and check it out for yourself. There's so much out here that's hard to put into the entire video. There you have it, my friends. The inside of the Florida Air Museum. Well guys, unfortunately we're not able to climb aboard this aircraft, but I did learn that on Fridays, and if select staff members are here, if you get lucky, you can climb aboard there. They'll let you in. It's also a classroom. There is a conference room and classroom inside the airplane. I was told that it does work, even though it's fixated here for good. The engines are said to still run. Let's go up to the staircase here. We can at least take a look at the Aerospace Center for Excellence entrance, or one of their classrooms. The door. Maybe we can peek through that window. Look at this. Some plexiglass here. There's some of the innards of the space, or the aircraft. Almost said spacecraft. Look at that. See, it's locked, but we can look inside. Look at that. It's a conference table. That's awesome. Wow! Look at the size of this landing gear. Really puts things into perspective for me, being this close to a commercial airline. It's huge. It reminds me of a scene from Commando, one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger films. And that landing gear tucks its way up into this right here. And now I'm trying to figure out how Arnold Schwarzenegger climbed out onto the landing gear and then jumped off the plane before it took off. How did he do that in Commando? One of my favorite Schwarzenegger films. That's what I'm thinking of right now. I'm always thinking about movies, but yeah, he jumped off the landing gear in that movie. Just so you know, fun fact. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Last but not least, out by the airfield is this 1995 SNS-7. This aircraft sits right in front of the Lakeland Aero Club, high school flying club. All kinds of stuff out here. It's a very good day. I really enjoyed myself inside that museum. A lot of cool stuff. I have a bit of an announcement. Yes, I'm announcing something. I don't really announce things, but this is a special occasion. Yesterday, this channel hit 20,000 subscribers, and I am so thankful and grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you're new, I hope you've been enjoying the videos. Please know that I make these things because they're fun to me. I have a regular job, an income, and on the weekends I head out into Florida and beyond to create videos because I enjoy it. And the biggest part of that enjoyment, of my enjoyment, is you guys. The fact that you watch just is amazing. I never thought people would watch my videos. When I created this channel, it was an outlet. It was a way to express myself. I was going through a very hard time in my life. Let me be real with you. I've said it before on this channel. People who have been watching the beginning know. But I went through a divorce, and it was a bad one. It wasn't a good one at all. Sometimes things don't work out. We're two different people. But that experience, before that actually happened, I started watching YouTube, and that kind of sparked my interest. I saw other people doing things that I didn't know existed. I didn't know there was a world out here where people went out and explored things and documented their experience and put it out there for people to see. And me being fascinated or loving movies and film It is a fascination. But me always wanting a desire there was a desire in me. I always wanted to make my own movies. When I was a kid, I always had home videos. But something connected. I saw others doing things on YouTube, and I thought, hey, maybe I can do that. And at the same time, I needed that in my life because I was going through a hard time, and YouTube and making videos is what helped me get through that. And it also led me to some of the best friends I've ever known. I've made a lot of good friends doing this. And that being said, that leads us back to the 20,000 subscriber announcement and celebration. And I'm celebrating because you guys are awesome. Your support means so much to me. The fact that you watch these videos just blows my mind, as I was kind of saying before. But I'm really grateful for 20,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd get there when I started this thing. Again, I do this because I love it. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my patrons. So I'm going to shout out those patrons, 7 of them. I will put their names right here on the screen, and I want to thank every single one of you guys for watching. And I appreciate you being here, all of you. Doesn't matter if you're a patron or not, subscriber, patron, friend, you're all my friends. Doesn't matter who you are. I want you to know that I am thankful for you. Thanks for every single person who has ever clicked on this channel on one of my videos. Thank you. Thank you so much. So grateful. And I look forward to what's ahead. We have only just started. We've only just begun. So many plans for the future here on this channel. I'm excited. All right, it's time to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed our fun out here at Fun and Sun, the Florida Air Museum. Lots of stuff going on out here. Come out and see it for yourself. Check it out and tell them Tampa J sent you. I'll put a link to the website in the description below. I may have already said that, but there you go, right there. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks so much. Give the video a thumbs up for me. That helps out a lot. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, bye. See you later. There's much ahead, my friends. There's so much ahead.